country, stood at the window. There must have been somewhere between 50 and 75 birds on the lawn, flying around, chirping, eating, flying over the house, underneath the window, up to the tree. I watched them for a few minutes, and went back to the kitchen to get some breakfast, and just got back to the kitchen, I heard a thump. So I went back to the living room, and below the window was a grosbeak who was just barely stunned. Anyway, he was sort of shaking his head and looking around. So I went back to the kitchen again, and just got sitting down when thump, the second bird hit the window. And it made me think, all these birds flying around, they're all flying over all around the house, and only two hit the window. Why? I mean, they couldn't have seen the window, but they could see the structure around it. They all could. And I thought, this is much like us. We can't see God, but we can see the structures that He's created. And it says in Romans, for since the creation of the world, the invisible attributes of God are clearly seen, being evident by the things that are made, His clinical powers and His Godhead. Now, the birds, when they're flying around, obviously know there's something there. But mankind may not be quite as smart, because we refuse to believe half the time of the invisible, but we can't see. The saying is that seeing is believing. And people actually become a little bit upset or become a bit ridiculing because you're praying and talking to a God you can't visibly see, you can't audibly hear in most cases, you can't physically touch. But like the pane of glass, He's there. People would rather build their own God, like the Hebrews did at the base of Mount Sinai. Rather than worship the invisible God, they would build their own God. Now, is that not more foolish, worshiping a God that you yourself built?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can build Him, what can He do for you? So the invisible God is sort of not worshipped by many people because they can't see Him or touch Him or hear Him. But like the birds in the pane of glass, they can see what's around the pane, and they know something is there. Now sometimes God may have to take things into His own hand, like the bird that hit the pane.
Yes.
Sometimes God knocks us for a loop just to get our attention.
Yes.
He did that to Saul. He knocked him off his high horse. You know, pay attention, Saul. You're ignoring me. You're persecuting me. He does that to us too. He can do things that will make our attention focus on Him, if we'll only let it. The second bird that hit the window wasn't so fortunate. He died. And sometimes God does that to us. He will take us home. He will cause us to have problems, or allow us to have problems. Maybe with alcohol, with drugs, with illness, with accidents, whatever. Maybe to bring us to our own attention that we need to focus on Him. Because like the pane of glass that you can't see, He is there. We are supposed to be the most intelligent creatures on earth. Sometimes you have to wonder. The birds who fly around even though they can't see things, understand they're there. We should be so smart. Because God, who's invisible, who needs us and wants us and prays for us as we pray for him, wants the interaction with us, wants us to believe that he exists, to worship him, and to pray to him. That same God, the birds seem to know more about than we do.
Wow.
Just something to think about.